Hello and welcome, it's Adam from betterproposals.io here, and we are back today with another episode of Proposal Breakdown. Now, I thought it might be kind of interesting to, instead of putting all the heat on other people, maybe take some myself for once. So what we're going to do today is something a little bit different. We're going to look at one of the old proposals that I actually sent to a high-end furniture company about 6 years ago for an online business automation system to automate their business. So, this was sent using a PDF originally, and we resent it about a year after with our new platform, which was a super early version of Better Proposals as you guys know it. So the first things first is there's no introduction. Now, if you've been watching any of our content in the last 7 or 8 months, you will know that I'm an absolutely massive advocate of stating the value that you're going to provide to the company up front in the introduction. So forget all the technical, forget all of the how and why and where and how much, just what's the value you're going to provide. What I've decided to do is screenshot their website and put that as the introduction on the proposal. Pretty poor stuff. So we are off to an absolutely shocking start. Next, I made a page called Problems and Solutions. Now, they had a ton of different issues, all sorts of different issues in different shapes, sizes, flavors and colors, and I've decided to go through and detail each problem and then what our potential solution is going to be. I don't think this is that bad. I think, considering the situation, I think laying it out like that was actually quite good. Less technical, more real world for them. So I mean, I'll give you a very quick example. Problem 1, data is stored on an Excel spreadsheet, which can take a long while to load, depending on where you are. So there's some Wi-Fi issue where it will take ages for their spreadsheet to load. Solution, don't use an Excel spreadsheet, put the same information in a fast-loading, user-friendly piece of software. So it's taking their version and using our version. So you can use this. This actually, I think even now, this is actually pretty good. So I go through, what's that, 6 or 7 solutions. Then I've got something quite techy here, which this is a QuickBooks integration, which they wanted with this thing to connect up to their finance package. So the only way I could think to do this was make a simple kind of all of their details and then a big arrow going into the QuickBooks logo. I mean, I don't think this is particularly good. I probably, in hindsight, wouldn't have put this in and maybe would have just put that in the problems and solutions. I can't really remember why it got so much attention so that it got its own page. Okay, so this is where I think we lost the job. So what sounds like a really great idea in mocking up screenshots of how their potential software is going to work. Now, this probably took me a total of an hour, so hardly a massive problem. But what I've done here is I've screenshotted, I've basically done mock-ups of their entire system. So realistically, you could charge thousands for this. And I've gone and given commentary for every single piece of their potential software. So not only is this a roadmap for somebody to completely and utterly copy, 10 years worth of ideas and, ability to be able to go and do this for kind of thing for a company, this was terrible. The reason why I think this was so bad is because I put the focus on the design of the system itself, as if that was a selling point. Now, this is a classic mistake that a lot of people make. And I think the reason we lost this job is because they didn't like what we'd done from a design perspective. Now, in looking at it, even minutes after I'd sent the proposal, already I was having ideas on how maybe we would do things differently or whatever. So an important point to remember is the conversation you have with your customers up until the point where you win the job is often very different, and they will often leave out information. And when you win the job, it's amazing what stuff is uncovered. So don't jump in and do spec work, which is stands for speculative, right? So I'm hoping that by showing you in advance what we're going to do, that's enough to win you over. Now, getting to the point of why this was bad, this was basically awful because I was trying to win the job based on a series of screenshots, which essentially meant absolutely nothing to her. She had no training, no concept of what any of this stuff was, and was coming from, there was too much of a gap between where she was and where I was trying to get her to. So that was pretty awful. What I should have done instead is put more emphasis on the value of the system itself and having everything in one place and all that kind of different stuff. Perhaps more of the problem and solution stuff. I could have probably just removed it entirely and I probably would have been better off. So that's that bit. Next got another page, existing clients. This is very primitive. There's no case studies here. There's no real examples. It's just very, very quick testimonials of a few clients basically saying how great we are. But there's no real meat to it. There's no real like, this changed our business because. There's no detail. It's just, yeah, it was great. They did what they said we're going to do. Bit weak. Then we've got an about page, which just pointless, does nothing. It's got a bit about the book that I've written, which she already had at this point. Kind of pointless. Then we've got a timescale section, which details the fact that it's going to take 8 to 12 weeks. Then, yeah, just basically tells them the step that we're going to go through. So, yeah, I mean, this probably needed to be an awful lot more basic, actually, because this was more the steps that we're going to go through, not necessarily the steps that they care about. So perhaps that could have been a little bit more customer centric than kind of testing and all that kind of stuff, detail orientated stuff. So next we've got an investment page. Now this I'm pretty happy with because there's two costs. There was a setup cost and there was a monthly cost, and I've just simply detailed what you get for the setup cost and why it's that, and the monthly cost, and explains what that involves and what that entails. And then I've explained the payment plan. Then what I've also done here, which I think more people could do, especially if you're in the sort of web business or sort of digital space in general, generally you've got a lot of information that you can give your customers. So one thing you could do is, similar to what I've done here, is throw in extra stuff that they get if they take you up on your offer within a certain time frame. So adding scarcity. I know it sounds a little bit cheap and marketing tacticy, but look, it's worked for years and it will continue to work until psychology changes, which isn't going to happen. So I've given a free year of unlimited support, whatever that meant, valued at 1,080 quid, free lead generation action plan, 300 quid, and a customer login system, so their customers can see where their order is, that kind of thing, valued that at 1,800 quid. And then we put a guarantee in there, which meant that we would do all the screenshots in advance, and then they only paid 10% up front. If they didn't like any of the screenshots and didn't want to go ahead with it and felt that we hadn't understood their business, then we would give them their 10% back and they could walk away. So that's all that. Relatively happy with most of that. I think that's actually quite a good idea. And then next steps, what I've got here is very simple. Explains to them that they need to sign below, and they can sign digitally. Then we're going to invoice them for 10%, and then we're going to send them a list of items which they need to collate for us. So all in all, not terrible, but it's very clear where we went wrong. I don't think it was a money issue. They made more than enough money, and the £12,000 we quoted was, to be honest, a drop in the ocean for them. Where we went wrong was we put all of the screenshots in advance, and we sold based on something she didn't understand, instead of selling on what she did understand, which is the value to her business. So I hope in ripping my own proposal apart here, that has helped you in understanding maybe where you might be going wrong in some of your proposals, but also pointing out where perhaps you're doing very, very well. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. If you want to get your proposal reviewed, then just send it through to adam@betterproposals.io, and I'll get it in the queue for the next one. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.